Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Dr. DeShavo. We are moving, ladies and gentlemen, or I think it's gentleman in this class, into week 8. Crazy, I know. A little reminder, in your syllabus is the weekly work. I've also included, or attached, I should say, the study guide for exam 3, which is coming in week 9. So I just wanted to point that out. You can find those study guides under course resources as well. If you like, you can come down here and see exam study guides. Remember for your exam to use RP now, just like you have previously, and you should be good to go. Now, moving into Module 8, we have the reproductive systems. Here's a general overview. It'll be broken down into male and female and disorders that happen among those two different groups. Here's a brief overview, which once again is a great study tool. You could print that off and use it to write your own definitions if you like. And then for this week, we once again have 2 discussions. Guys, I can't emphasize enough, follow the directions for the discussions to the T. Okay, I literally go through with that rubric and give you your points if you follow it. Create a discussion, have 2 resources, make sure it's at least 250 words, make sure that it is below the 24% on Turnitin. Do a response, that's 250 words or more, 2 resources, 24% or less on Turnitin. Be thorough and complete. Use applications that you're learning in this class and you're good to go. People aren't following the directions and they're losing points, and that's a huge chunk of your grade. So coming back up here, I opened the PowerPoints and just briefly wanted to go through them. This is the basic structure and development of the reproductive system. So you can go through that and answer those questions as you go along. I know there was a question or 2 actually in these notes that I wanted to go over with you. Okay, it must be in the next one. 435, chapter 35, PowerPoints. Here we go. So this is dysfunctions of the female. And I wanted to point out some of the review for taking test questions that I've gone over. I would like to point out here too, don't forget that your own experiences are helpful. Okay, so in here, you're going to learn a few slides before ductal carcinoma in situ. You're probably familiar with this, will be in the ducts of the breast. And coming down here, it asks, here's a question, what's the most likely cause for the increase in number of diagnoses of ductal carcinoma in situ since the 1980s? Probably a lot of you haven't been around since the 80s, but my point is that you should probably be able to guess just from your experience that the widespread adoption of screening has really caught a lot of these cancers, and we know generally a bit earlier. Thank goodness, right? And that is indeed the answer for this. So don't forget that good old common sense and also experience can be used to answer some of these questions. The thing I also wanted to point out when you take your exams, and this is the last set of notes for this week, generally what you get wrong can help you figure out what you're not doing right with studying, okay? And I brought up this question because it probably is something that you know just from experience. But if we back up, the answer for this is right in the notes. So use these questions that are embedded into the notes. I think it went right over it. To see how you're studying. If you're not studying well, what can you do to change that? Okay, so torsion, there it is, I just went right over it. Okay, so they ask you this question further on. If you get to these embedded questions in the notes and you don't recognize it, you're not studying the notes well enough. And we could study in a variety of ways. It depends on how you learn best, and actually I have a video on that I'll send out to you guys. Okay, The other question, same thing. If you get to this other question and this doesn't seem familiar, it's back in the notes, okay? It's orchitis. So I will attach my study advice to you, but studying is very personalized. You sort of have to look at what's going wrong and think, am I not memorizing well enough? Am I not understanding it? Am I not applying it? And work on that. And of course, if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to help you. To shoot me an email. Close this out. That is it for week 8. I make it sound so easy. I know that it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to learn it all. Remember that your exam is coming in week 9. The topics for that are in the syllabus, but also in that review, which I have attached to the announcement for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I hope you're all well, and let me know if you need anything. Thank you. Take care.